The administration is still trying to get their story straight on how a journalist ended up on a group chat that detailed imminent military strikes on Yemen. Here's the best they've come up with so far. Take a look.
If this story proves anything, it proves that Democrats and their propagandists in the mainstream media know how to fabricate, orchestrate, and disseminate a misinformation campaign quite well.
They know it's not war plans. There's no units, no locations, no routes, no flight paths, no sources, no methods, no classified information.
Obviously, someone made a mistake. Someone made a big mistake and added a journalist.
Do you still believe nothing classified was shared?
Well, that's what I've heard. I don't know. I'm not sure. How do you bring Hegseth into it? He had nothing to do. Look, it's all a witch hunt.
Welcome to Back in the Cat Box, where they are just covering up as quick as they can.
Yeah, you ever see that show, Hogan's Heroes, where the guy, I know nothing, I did nothing, that's Trump.
You know, but the question is, you know, are Americans buying the way that they're framing this? I mean, I don't think so. And I'm kind of surprised about, or maybe I'm crazy, but still not one Republican has called for anyone in this group to be fired.
Yeah.
I mean, they love to fire people. What's going on?
They think we're stupid, is my opinion on this. They really think we're stupid. They're saying, like, this is not classified information. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, well, when you're planning to drop a bomb on a country, I would think that's classified as, what is classified then? His golf games? What? What is classified if not to attack another country? Yeah. So there is a simple notion that Americans need to just understand that they're lying about everything. Well, and we're not that dumb. We're not. We may look stupid. I do. But
no, you don't.
No.
I want to play a quick clip because I think it's important.
Have you been briefed about the soldiers in Lithuania who are missing?
No, I haven't.
So right now, 4 U.S. soldiers are missing from a training mission in
doesn't know
Lithuania.
anything about it.
Now, the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, his job would be to brief the Commander-in-Chief of the status of U.S. service members whose family are waiting to hear details. And Secretary Hegseth didn't do the bare minimum of his job, which would be to brief the president on this. And then to go a step further, I am losing my mind over the fact that they're treating it like Jeffrey Goldberg was the problem here.
Yeah.
And that the most scandalous part was that a journalist was added. It was that you were using a non-classified open source technology on your personal cell phone to share what any military expert not named Pete Hegseth would say is classified information. It was specific airstrikes and naming the actual aircrafts that we were using. And we know that the Houthis actually have very advanced missile and aircraft defense systems that they've gotten from the Iranian government. In that 2-hour period, it could have harmed U.S. forces. So Hegseth fails on both things. You're not briefing the Commander-in-Chief about actively missing U.S. service members, and you didn't care about the safety and security of those who carried out this mission.
Are you letting off the hook the rest of them who happen to be on that threat?
No, I just think Hegseth is the most dangerous. I think he's the least qualified and lacks judgment.
More dangerous than Trump? No.
Well, it's the Secretary of Defense, I think he is.
The Commander-in-Chief, of course, is the most dangerous.
Well, the Commander-in-Chief
Maybe they're not briefing Hegseth.
Well, that's what I want.
You know, the thing is, we all knew that Hegseth was unqualified for this job, and he replaced a 4-star general with over 40 years of experience, Lloyd Austin. And this would not have happened and did not happen on Lloyd Austin's watch. But what I will say is, to your question initially, Whoopi, these people need to be fired. They need to be held accountable. I remember when, following the July 13th rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, when there was an assassination attempt on the president's life, Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle said, "The buck stops with me." And she resigned. She resigned. She didn't put it on anyone else. Pete Hegseth is the person that is responsible. He's the person that's the Secretary of Defense. He is responsible for everything. It was his decision to use that group chat to type out this highly sensitive information.
But how come Trump didn't know about this group chat? He's the Commander-in-Chief.
Do you really believe that he doesn't know? He also doesn't know he lost the election.
He says he
so
didn't
I don't
know.
if we. Well, yeah, but I don't know if I'm following that completely. But
nice legs.
I can't sit in this skirt, so I'm glad there's a table here. But the thing about this message being released, we hear over and over that in that 2-hour period from the point that Goldberg saw this message to when the attack happened, not only could it have completely stymied the whole attack and the Houthis could have caught on, they could have actually shot down our pilots.
Right.
And so putting people at that risk.
Right.
And right now, they keep going back and forth on if it's a war plan or an attack plan. They need to stop spinning in circles because accountability is not a strength of this administration. But what I do need to know, because yes, I think criminal things should happen. People should be fired, all the things, but that's not going to happen. What I need to know is there are private conversations happening about why information is serious, sensitive, and confidential. Because this can't happen again, and we're not getting reassurances. They're so busy denying it
It'll
that they're
happen
not
again.
saying, hey, we're going to take steps to make sure we never do this again.
Right. The lack of taking responsibility is what stands out to me. But I will note a number of Republicans on Capitol Hill have called for investigations. They've stopped short of calling for someone to be fired. But that has to happen. I think this is scratching the surface. The fact that this is named like Houthi PC1 text chain, don't we think they likely have multiple text chains
where
with
are the
senior
other group
leaders?
chats
And also,
that we don't
this
know about?
particular chat disappears, which I think is very egregious.
Some of the
also.
messages were sent to that, which ruins the record.
This is supposed to be a historical document also, and now it disappears like Snapchat.
Well, think of Benghazi and coming out of Afghanistan, and it's not just investigations. You pass these records along to future administrations,
Well,
so you can pass the baton.
Thank God my cousin took pictures of everything.
Yes.
Jeffrey Goldberg.
Jeffrey Goldberg.
Yeah, oh yeah, we Goldbergs are everywhere.
The Atlantic.
We're everywhere.
From the Atlantic.
You know?
And that's the interesting thing. I mean, you're talking about someone that was editor-in-chief at the Atlantic. This is a very reputable, very high-level
these are
Didn't invite himself to
That's
the
right.
conversation.
But this is part of the problem. You know, I listened when Hegseth was talking about the man he replaced. And I listened how he basically said, you were not good at your job. You didn't know what you were doing. Pete.
Yeah.
Pete.
Yeah.
It's you now.
Yep.
It's you.
Take
There's
responsibility.
nobody else to blame. This is on you. You chose not to go through the proper protocol.
Yeah.
And everybody could have seen this.
Yeah.
This is not the App Store kind of stuff you want to be using.
They also have a tendency to blame the Biden administration. It's like, move on, that ship has sailed. I never remember in my lifetime a sitting president trashing a previous president. I've never heard that before. You never heard,
They typically don't
Ronald
do that.
Reagan didn't do it. They're St.
But it's
Ronald.
the common enemy. It's what drives their base together is the other.
Yeah,
so they
that's
do
right.
that to create.
Yeah. And I gotta say, stop treating your base like their dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop.